All right, Dan, we're going to try to figure out what is going on with the Buffalo Bills, and nice enough to join us on the Labatt Blue Light Hotline, as he does each and every week here on The Drive from WGR Sports Radio 550, the beaten sideline reporter for the Buffalo Bills, and certainly our friend, that is Sal Capaccio. Sal, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Great to talk to you here on this middle of the week again, getting ready for another primetime game.
Is it a little colder out there in Buffalo? Because it's definitely colder here.
A little bit.
Okay.
You know what? It's chilly. It's a little colder, but it's nothing horrible. I think it's kind of seasonal right now. I was actually just going to. So today we talk on Wednesday. Normally Wednesday, I'm at the stadium, and there's Sean McDermott. There's practice, but because the game's on Monday this week, that won't be till Thursday this week.
Right.
So everything gets kind of pushed out. So. Today, I did my radio show, and now I'm home, and I'm thinking about raking the leaves because they are everywhere. And then I just realized it's a little colder than I thought. I better get a little extra layer on.
Get that hooded Buffalo Bills sweatshirt on.
Absolutely,
that's what you need. If it gets really cold, you have the goggles. If you really need
that, that's a great call. That's right. There you go.
All right, man. Hey, what's wrong with this team? Honestly, I watch it and we talk about it. We try to break it down. It looks like they're in position to make good plays, and it just seems disjointed. What's happening?
Well, I think during situations like this, when things are not living up to expectations and the team is not playing well and getting the results you want, people want to blame one thing, right? They go, oh, look at this. This is the problem. And, typically cutting under fire is usually coaches, because that's what fans do. It's low-hanging fruit. You just point to the coaches. Well, they should be better. They should put them in better position. But it's always a lot of everything, right? Could you coach better? Sure. You could also execute better. You could play better. There are plays to be made on offense and defense, and Josh Allen's missing guys. And there's times where you say, well, you know what? You should have been better as a play caller there, or the design or the philosophy should have been better. Shouldn't have blitzed on that play. Whatever it is, all that stuff happens. I think at the end of the day, let's take these both sides of this. I think offensively, for some reason, they're not finishing drives. They're actually their EPA, the analytics stuff, is saying that they're still moving the ball. They're still getting in position. They still are making plays, but they're not, turnovers. Look what happened. Dalton Kincaid, in the red zone.
Yes.
Josh Allen throws the interception earlier in the game. Those things are hurting them a lot. They're not scoring enough points. You have to do that. Now, defensively, they're kind of hanging out for dear life right now, to be honest with you guys. Like they're doing everything they can. I thought they played a good enough game defensively to win against the Cincinnati Bengals. They didn't play perfect by any means, but given their situation with injuries, it's just too much to overcome. Yeah. I thought they gave the offense enough chances.
Sal, I was so very eager to ask my follow-up question on the offense. I apologize for that, but I'm very curious about where, on the offensive side, where you believe Ken Dorsey comes into all of this, because I'm sure, as you've heard from your listeners and we've seen from ours, the play calling and the performance of the offense has been questioned for quite a while this season. But what's been the latest on him and where he stands, and what do you make of his role in some of the struggles?
So first, let me say that I just think, and I know maybe I'm self-aware enough to say that I think maybe I go too far sometimes to try to explain this, or to, whether it's, I don't know, I don't want to use the word defend, but I always try to at least give reasons why. It's not like you can't just put it all on coaches. And it might be because I'm a coach as well. I coached at the high school level, and I've been around it. I just know that, you drop things, you drop schemes, and to me it's like raising your kids, right? Where you give your kids all the tools and knowledge and resources. You can't do it for them, though. They got to make decisions they have to execute. Now, so I think, Ken Dorsey goes into every game, and I think he's done a pretty decent job overall as offensive coordinator when you look at all the numbers, when you look at where the Bills rank. But I think as the season's gone on, he hasn't had much of a counterpunch sometimes when he's needed it, when teams have taken things away, and has not been able to kind of figure out how to do something else. I do think personnel-wise, they're limited. Like, look, you could say, well, it's all Stephon Diggs catching the ball. I don't think a lot of the guys are getting open as much as you want. I don't think Gabe Davis is getting open as much as you want. I don't think Khalil Shakir, he's played really a lot better lately, right? But you have to be able to get open as well. There's not as much motion in the offense. You got to do things to get these guys, scheme them up to get them open. So I think it's all of that. What his role is, not going to change anytime soon, according to Sean McDermott. He was asked point blank this week. Would you consider any changes in that regard? He said no. One word answer, no. And that's typically not what the Bills do. That's not what their organization's about. That's not their MO. They don't make firings during the season. We'll see. I would also say it's halfway through the season. There's still time here. I still think this team, this offense, has the answers in-house to figure it out. That comes with coaching and execution.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. We're hanging out with our guy, Sal Capaccio, WGR Sports Radio 550. You can follow him on Twitter at Sal Sports. He's the host of the Extra Point Show from 10 a.m. till 12 noon on WGR Sports Radio 550. He's also the Buffalo Bills beat and sideline reporter. You hear him each and every week right here on 104.5 The Team, the official home of the Buffalo Bills. You know, Sal, I agree with everything you were talking about, but the one thing that I see when I watch this team, it does look to me that Josh Allen, especially when the field gets shorter, seems to not be playing his best. I don't know if it's his decision making. I don't know, is his shoulder still bothering him? It seems like you said it. They're moving the ball. There are a lot of analytics. You look, the Bills are doing fine for most of the drive until they get down into a place where they can score, and then they're turning it over. What is it at that point when the field gets shorter? And is it Josh Allen, and possibly is it his shoulder?
Well, I will tell you though that they actually have a very good red zone offense. They're ranked third in the league in red zone.
Okay,
I mean, it's not when you get inside. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think when you get into the red zone. I think at some point in the drive, something's happening. So that could be, to me, it's even before they get there. So they're ranked. They've scored touchdowns on 69% of their red zone trips. Close to that. That's third in the league behind only Miami and the Chargers. The only two teams better than them. So let me just say that when I say finishing drives, I don't think it means that when you get in the red zone finish drives. I think at some point. See, here's, I think, the overall picture. Look around the league, guys. Defense is having a year here, right? The scoring is down across the NFL. Our afternoon drive host, Mike Shope, had a stat the other day, and I couldn't believe it. It blew me away. He said something like there's 150 less touchdowns scored through this point this year than last year.
Wow.
In the NFL. Defense is playing. Like, defense is kind of having a resurgence in the league. So the reason why is, I think defenses for the last few years have kind of adjusted these really big-time offenses. These spread the field, throw it around, these big-time quarterbacks, throw it over your head. And defenses have said, look, we're not going to let you do that anymore. We're going to keep everything in front of us. You're going to work for everything you had. You're going to have to go on 8, 9, 10-play drives. So the Bills have to do that like everybody else. And I think because of that, at some point, they make a mistake. At some point, Josh becomes impatient. To get to what you just said, Charlie, makes a bad decision. There's a bad play. It could be even a bad luck, right? It could be a bounce here or a bounce there. Or you could have Dalton Kincaid fumbling when he's trying to hurdle over somebody, making a play in the red zone. So, to me, it's not necessarily where they are on the field. It's taking 8, 9, 10-play drives, and at some point, the Bills are making a critical mistake along that drive. And then sometimes they get to midfield, and they become in no man's land. And it's like, do we punt? Do we go for it? Do we kick a field goal? And that's when fans get mad because you don't go for it every time because everybody lives in a Madden world. And they think you should go for every fourth down, which I disagree with, but that's another story. And I think those are the situations where then it becomes even more heightened because you're playing closer games now. Remember, 2 years ago, the Bills blew everybody out when they played. They just blew everybody out. Didn't matter. They're playing close games now. These are all one-score games. So any mistake like that, and any decision you make like that is going to be even more magnified.
Yeah. It's a fair point about the Madden world, too, there, Sal. I've expected the Bills to just run 4 verticals for every offensive play, and they just won't do it, and I just don't understand it. But maybe it's a Ken Dorsey issue. I don't know. But, as we continue to look forward, again, the Bills looking to put it back together. The injury bug has been a big storyline this year on both sides of the ball. Any good news on the injury front? Where do we sit with that?
The only good news I could tell you is that Dane Jackson left the game, but he's fine.
Okay.
He will play, so that's good.
Good.
I thought that he played really well, by the way, Monday night. I thought Dane had a really nice game, and then Russell Douglas they just brought in, and he actually wound up getting snaps for Dane, who had left, and for Christian Benford. That's one of the ones that are concerning. Christian Benford, cornerback, he had a hamstring injury in the game. We don't know where his status is. The one I'm a little more concerned about is Micah Hyde. Micah Hyde, remember, missed almost all of last year with the neck injury. He actually had a stinger in the game, and he didn't return. And you worry because the neck, they signed a safety to the practice squad yesterday. His name escapes me, but that might be an indication, like, are they thinking there's something more here with Micah? We'll see where they go with that. And then Terrell Bernard, who's right now, just playing terrific at linebacker, he's in concussion protocol. He didn't play the whole second half. Now, that said, they lost Terrell Bernard, and you're like, okay, well, they're up against it. But I really think that, both Dorian Williams and Tyrell Dodson did a nice job stepping up at linebacker in the second half, and I thought the Bills did a really nice job. The Bills held the Bengals to 3 points in the second half. 3 points.
Yeah.
The offense had opportunities. They didn't score.
Yeah, to me, honestly, I think it's when I watch, I think it's the offense more than it is the defense. I think with all of the injuries and the major injuries that they have had on that defense to play the way they are is almost. It's shocking, actually. All right, let's get to Monday night, Sal, taking on the Denver Broncos. Broncos have played better. I mean, they've won their last 2 games. They beat the Packers and they beat the Chiefs. And they had a nice game against the Chiefs, shut down Patrick Mahomes, whether he had the flu or not. They shut him down. This one may not be the cakewalk everybody expects out of the Broncos.
No doubt about it. Their last 3 games, they've given up 9, 17, and 19. And 2 of those games are against the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs 24-9. They also lost only 19-8. Could have beat them a few weeks ago in a night game. In Kansas City. So, yeah, that was the Thursday night game, I believe. So, this is not the Broncos team that people saw get 70 hung on them by the Miami Dolphins in week 3, 35 by the Washington Commanders losing that game. This is a Broncos team that's played better. And look, Russell Wilson's actually played better than people probably realize. I think it's kind of gotten lost because they have had the season they've had and they were the butt of jokes a few weeks ago. Russ Wilson's actually not playing very well, but they're like the Bills where they hurt themselves at times. They make critical mistakes at times on offense. And then their defense, ranking-wise, just has been really, really bad. But they've actually had outside, I know, the 70-point game, right? How do you, oh my gosh, you can't get rid of that. But if you take that away, otherwise this year, they've had 17, 19, 17, 9, and then a few games where teams have scored on them. So I agree with you. I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk. And by the way, they're fully healthy, with a defense that's really feeling confident right now and starting to get to the passer and take the ball away.
Yeah, and they have 3 wins, and that's more wins than the New England Patriots and a bunch of other teams in the NFL. So this is not going to be a cakewalk. You can listen to them on Monday night because it's right here on 104.5 The Team, the official home of the Buffalo Bills. Pre-game show starts at 6 p.m. And, of course, with Sideline reporter, our guy Sal Capaccio. Sal, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You know how much we appreciate it. Enjoy the game. Should be a great atmosphere. Monday Night Football out at Highmark Stadium usually doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I think we're going to have pretty decent weather. It's going to be a little chilly, but as long as there's no wind or precipitation, I can live with that.